WUSA 9 Weather Watch Alert is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Good Friday evening. I'm meteorologist Kaitlyn McGrath. We are heading into the weekend with a really active radar. We've been tracking these storms throughout the evening, and still a few strong storms on the map that have produced some significant damage throughout the evening. So if you are out and about, you might still notice a few of these stronger storms rumbling through. We only have one severe thunderstorm warning left on the map, but you can see this is a 3-hour loop. These storms have been evolving over the past several hours and moving relatively slowly. So I do want to pause here on radar, zoom into where we have that little sliver of Prince George's County under severe thunderstorm warning in effect here for just a little bit longer. That includes parts of Bowie and Upper Marlboro, though you can see the strongest part of that storm has moved out of Prince George's County right around Queen Anne. Still some really locally heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and just off to the west of that warning through parts of FedEx Field over toward College Park, a downpour with some thunder and lightning. That has been a common theme in all of these storms throughout the evening. Torrential rain, damaging wind. That's probably where we've seen most of our damage reports coming from, and some small hail as well. We still have some downpours and thunderstorms moving through parts of Virginia into southern Maryland, right over into Accokeek. We're starting to see a little locally heavy rain pick up in addition to thunder and lightning. Dale City also getting in on a little thunderstorm right now. Some heavier rain into Indian Head just off to the west. We're still watching some more widespread storm activity moving through Nokesville and Catlett down into Midland over toward Warrenton. You can see all those individual cracks of thunder and lightning. That's active lightning that we're seeing right now, whether it's cloud to cloud or cloud to ground, down into parts of Goldvein. Also seeing some really locally heavy rain that extends into parts of Hartwood down towards Chancellor as well. But we'll give you a wider perspective here, and you can see I really do think this will be the last of the storm activity for tonight, and it really has been quite the active evening. Just take a look at all of the storm reports we've seen over the past several hours. Every icon you see there with a little tree, that's tree damage, a lot of which has come out of parts of Aspen Hill, Maryland, Potomac, Maryland, back into Gaithersburg. That's where we've had multiple reports of trees down on cars and home. Dozens of trees reportedly down on homes back towards the Baltimore suburbs. We actually had a tornado warning back into parts of Elkton and Cecil County, Hartford County in Maryland not too long ago, but thankfully that storm has weakened. We've also seen some hail reports right over Sterling and Ashburn. That's where we saw some quarter-size hail a little bit earlier this evening. So we'll show you some of our damage reports we've gotten in. This was sent in by the Montgomery County PIO Peter Pieringer from Aspen Hill. This is where we did have a tree down on a home and there was an entrapment. So Montgomery County Fire and Rescue did respond to this and thankfully got everyone out okay, but we've seen scenes like that throughout the evening. Trees down on wires, trees down on homes and cars. We do have a big cleanup on the way. This photo was sent in by the Reston guy in Western Virginia, and what a capture of that intense lightning strike. We talk about it all the time, just how dangerous lightning can be. So thankfully we haven't heard of any injuries, and we always encourage folks whenever these storms rumble through, and they are still moving through, to seek proper shelter. If you're out and about, that can be as simple as your car. Of course, if you are at home, just head inside or any secure structure to make sure you're staying safe as storms like what we've seen throughout the day and throughout the evening roll through. Adam Moore sent in this photo from Stafford, Virginia. Just a beautiful capture of that storm cloud. Unfortunately, the picture looks much nicer than the storm behaved. That too was a severe thunderstorm warning we were watching earlier this evening. So the severe thunderstorm watch continues until 11 o'clock tonight, though it has been getting trimmed back as the severe threat wanes, as storms continue to push off to the east. So I do think over the next several hours they'll continue to drop, especially in our western counties where we still see them through Manassas down into Culpeper. They'll be in D.C. probably until around 11 o'clock. I think we could still see some stronger storms right along the I-95 corridor through the 10-11 o'clock hour tonight. But as we've lost the heating of the day, these storms not nearly as punchy as they were once we had all of the heat and humidity from the afternoon building. We did fall short of records today. Wind shifted coming in from the south a little bit earlier this afternoon. We got up to 95 in D.C. That sensor in D.C. right at Reagan National. So once you get that southerly breeze coming in, you pick up a little bit of the influence from the river, the cooler water, and we topped off at 95. So no record heat at D.C. Dulles did get up to 98. Still not a record, but you can see how the rain has cooled our temperatures pretty significantly. Right now, 78 degrees in D.C., 74 in Manassas, 79 in Leesburg. Still a little bit warmer Down into Tappahannock, where we didn't get any rain, still sitting at 85 degrees, but the heat, another part of the big story as we head into the weekend. Right now still feels kind of muggy. We still have dew points in the mid 70s. That's just about as sticky as it gets. So temperatures feeling a few degrees warmer than they actually are, but still nothing compared to what the feels like temperatures will be for your Saturday forecast. Once again, we have an excessive heat warning in effect for the Metro DC area, southern Maryland, parts of central and southeastern Virginia, everywhere you see shaded there in red. That's for heat index values up to 110 degrees. Off to the west and north areas in orange, that's a heat advisory for feels like temperatures up to 105. As far as future feels like temperatures go, we start the day on Saturday feeling like the mid to upper 70s. Once again, once you step outside, the first thing you'll notice is the humidity. That sticks around throughout the day tomorrow, and as temperatures are expected to climb back into the 90s, feels like temperatures will approach and surpass the triple digits once again. 4 p.m. feeling like 105 degrees in DC, 105 in Manassas, 104 in Andrews, a little bit cooler off to our north and west, but this is all under the assumption that our temperatures get this warm. Right now we're forecasting 96 degrees in DC, 94 in Frederick, mid 90s for Manassas, upper 90s down into Culpeper. However, if we see some showers early tomorrow morning, and that is still a possibility, I think temperatures would struggle to make it this high. I think we would kind of cap off in the mid to low 90s for high temperatures on Saturday if we see showers in the morning and clouds that linger as a result. But if we start the day with sunshine similar to today, temperatures will warm very quickly as we head throughout the day on Saturday. So tomorrow is just one more day where we need to take those heat safety precautions. Make sure you're checking on the most vulnerable in our population. That includes elderly, children, and pets, everyone who needs a little extra attention when we get extreme temperatures like this. If you are going outside, wear loose, lightweight, light-colored clothing. It can really make a difference in how your body absorbs that heat and sunlight. If you wear darker colors, it absorbs it. Lighter colors reflect it. Make sure you're drinking plenty of hydrating fluids, water, and things like Gatorade, things with electrolytes in them, and avoid high energy activities midday. If you want to get outside for a workout, maybe go for a run or do some lawn work, shoot for earlier in the morning or later in the afternoon once we get past the hottest part of the day. But just know we have some storms in the forecast for tomorrow. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And of course, if you are outside, try and find shade. I'm going to take you through two versions of Futurecast here because there is still some disagreement in terms of what we can expect in terms of rainfall and storm activity for your Saturday forecast. This is one of our computer models. You can see lingering storms a little bit longer. I'm not buying it. I think we clear out here over the next 2 hours by 7:30 tomorrow morning, starting the day with sunshine. But then as the morning wears on, we start to see clouds thickening up. I still think this would be a scenario in which we see plenty of daytime heating, temperatures back in the upper 90s, nowhere near record territory for Saturday, but still very hot, very humid, feeling like 100 degrees plus. And then as we head into the afternoon, this is 4 p.m. Showers start popping up again, very similar to what we've been talking about throughout the day today and what we saw on yesterday. Storms should be pretty hit or miss, becoming a bit more widespread as we head toward dinner time. But where they develop, there is a concern for severe weather. Biggest concern being damaging wind. Some larger hail looks possible in storms tomorrow, just given the atmospheric profile, and also not ruling out a little bit of rotation. It really all kind of depends on where the storm system that's bringing the storms tonight heads next. If we see a little bit of lingering shifting wind behind it, that could bring in just enough rotation to produce an isolated tornado or two, something we will be watching very carefully throughout the day tomorrow, but something to keep in mind, especially if you do have outdoor plans. Have the conversation now. Where would you go if a tornado warning was issued? It's going to be a great day to have our WUSA 9 app. You can track the storms right in the palm of your hand, and you'll get alerts sent straight to your phone if a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning is issued for your area. Here we are right around 6, 7 o'clock. Storms continuing to develop along and to the east of the I-95 corridor. I do think if we were to see any rotating storms, it would be in the Metro DC area and really off to the north and east. Sometimes we start to see these storms interacting with the bay breeze, a wind coming in off the bay that also can cause a little rotation. So just keep that in mind. That will kind of highlight DC and points north and east as the greatest potential to see some rotating storms throughout Saturday afternoon and evening. This is 9 p.m., maybe a lingering shower or two, but I think Michaela will be tracking clearing skies as we head through Saturday night. Let's talk you through another computer model that sings a a little bit of a different song as we look ahead towards Saturday. Here we are around 11 o'clock tonight. Most, if not all, of the activity is out of here. But by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, this computer model brings in some scattered showers, maybe even some thunderstorms. I don't think this is a super likely scenario as we look ahead toward tomorrow morning. We're going to have what's called convective debris, some cloud cover in the wake of the storms for tonight that I think would hamper any storm activity for Saturday morning. A few showers could be possible, and this would be this instance where we see showers in the morning, clouds that linger, and temperatures that might not warm as readily. We might stay a little bit cooler, still in the low 90s, so still a very hot day on the way. But will we get up to 96 degrees? Probably not if we wake up to some scattered showers, most of which would be in our northern counties, areas closer to the Pennsylvania border. I think if you're south of D.C., parts of southern Maryland, central and southeastern Virginia, even D.C., you'll probably start the day dry tomorrow. But then throughout the afternoon, this model's still in agreement that we see a round of storms throughout the afternoon. And I should also note that these storms are ahead of a cold front. That cold front going to bring in much cooler air as we look ahead towards Sunday and the extended forecast. But unlike the storms that we saw today and yesterday, they're just summer storms. They really didn't have much forcing, much of an uplift to cause them to form. But you can see you don't need much of an uplift when it comes to days like today with so much instability. But with that extra forcing from the cold front, that gives us a slightly better chance to see some severe weather as we look ahead toward the afternoon and evening hours. And throughout the evening, we'll also be watching again the potential for that damaging wind and an isolated tornado as well, in addition to some larger hail that might cause a little bit more damage than the pea and quarter size hail that we saw today. But storms clear by Saturday night, and Sunday is looking much drier. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center only has us in a level 2 out of 3 risk for severe weather. This could be for a number of factors. One, they do look fairly scattered. I think a lot less folks will see storms than what we saw today, but where they do develop, I think they'll be a little bit stronger. So all kind of factors that go in to the Storm Prediction Center forecast, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see this bumped up to a level 3 out of 5, especially for D.C. back into parts of Baltimore and Carroll, Howard County, where I do think we have a slightly better chance of seeing some of those stronger and potentially rotating storms develop. So look at the 7-day forecast. We do have a weather watch alert in effect for Saturday, not only for the heat, but also for the storm threat. An isolated storm can't be ruled out on Sunday, but I think it's trending drier and drier, and thankfully cooler. High temperatures will fall back into the upper 80s as we head throughout the day, and dew points, humidity will be dropping throughout the day on Sunday. That's going to lead us into a spectacular end of July and start of August. Temperatures actually below average in the mid 80s, should be right around 90 degrees for the beginning of August, but we're below that, and with really low humidity, it is just going to be spectacular next week. If you don't have outdoor plans, I do suggest you make some. Our next better chance for storms would be Thursday and Friday. So we'll send you back to the 7-day there. Again, we just have to get through one more weather watch alert day before we start to see some pretty big improvement. We'll continue to keep an eye on the storms for tonight and bring you an updated forecast on WUSA 9 at 11. I hope you have a great weekend.